Hello, welcome to week 74 of my Zepbound journey. I'm Chris, and this is my Wednesday weigh-in where I get on YouTube and I tell you every week how much weight I have lost or gained on Zepbound since the last week of February 2025. So this week, banner week, I gained a lot of weight, and I'm going to explain to you why. If you're new here, I have been weighing in every week since February, and I started with 8 weeks of 2.5, 24 weeks at 5 milligram, 28 weeks at 7.5, and then I've titrated down to 5 milligrams for all the shots since then. And I have recently started spacing out my injections to 10 to 11 days in between. I was trying to go 2 weeks in between shots, and I didn't. I thought that 10 or 11 days in between was feeling better for me. So that's what I've done the last several weeks. One thing is it will bring down the price of the medicine because I would be using 3 shots in a month rather than 4. And I'm still paying $4.99 out of pocket, no insurance coverage, with a coupon from CVS. So this last week, my friend that always ribs me about losing weight too fast is going to love this week because she says, I just don't understand how you lose weight so fast. And this week, I gained 5 pounds in a week, which is right up there with my pregnancy level weight gain when I was pregnant with my daughters decades ago. So yeah, I gained 5 pounds in 1 week. And I was not trying to do that, although I have an interesting new take in my brain that I'm going to explain to you about wanting to put on 10 pounds. And I guess I'm halfway there since last week was what it was. But a little recap of last week. 4th of July, we had the kids and my grandkids over several days, and it was a lot of eating. There's a macaroni salad that I make that I had 2 trays of that, was eaten. I'm not a grazer, and I never really have been, and I've never really been a morning or lunchtime person who overeats then. When I was overweight, it was almost always like 4 o'clock on, and I'm not a middle of the night eater. I had some very specific windows of like eating everything in the evening, either during dinner, I guess prior to dinner, I would munch on things, but it was pretty much damaged just from large amounts of dinner and or junk food after dinner. I'm not one of those people that all day long, like if there are donuts in the office or this or that. Sorry, there was something fell down. I'm not an all day long eater, so my eating hours are contained. But this last week, with all the kids and grandkids, lots of grandkid time, and 3 different cakes, Costco chocolate cake, strawberry shortcake, and what was the third one? The strawberry shortcake, the chocolate cake. We had something else that was delicious, and I can't remember what it was, but and lots of pulled pork and barbecue. My son-in-laws love to barbecue, as my husband does, and so we had a lot of very good food, and I ate a lot. I didn't drink a lot. I still don't like drinking or the way that it makes me feel, so I had a few drinks on the 4th of July. And then yesterday, my husband and I went out because my daughter had a club that she goes to at the Y, and I had a couple of martinis, and I still feel a little sick from that. I used to love, martinis. It just makes me feel very inflamed. The inflammation really bothers me, and I get like my joint pain and body pain back almost instantly since I have started Zepbound and lost my weight, when I drink too much, and I don't like that feeling of inflammation. So, but this week was, like I said, several days of having the kids and the grandkids over and friends, and I put on 5 pounds, a lot of macaroni salad, and Now, what's interesting is I was going to mention to you that this whole time I wanted to lose weight, and I had 174 in my head, is what my Eros scale said. 174 was a healthy weight. 175 was considered overweight. So since I started this Zepbound journey, the number in my head was to get into the healthy range that my Eros scale had dictated would be good for my height and for me. That's really how I came upon that number. Also, like, I was 165 the day I got married, and so I wanted to get into the 160 range. At my height, at 165, it sounds heavy. Even when I go weigh in at the doctor's office, the nurse is always like, "Wow, you don't look that heavy." I don't know if she should say that every time I weigh in, but she does. And she goes, "That's a compliment." And I'm like, I guess so, yeah. So my genetics run heavy, that don't always like translate to size. Like, I do remember when I was young and I went to the carnival in San Jose, and it was like, guess your weight. And they were wrong about it. And I knew they'd be wrong about it. And even then, I think I was in the 140s then, maybe 150 when I was in high school. And they guessed like 120. And so I won the prize. So there's a real kind of weird disconnect between like what I weigh, what I should weigh, what I look like I weigh. And so what I'm saying is the scale can be a really confusing thing. Like, I wanted to get to 174. So then I got below 174. I can't remember if 163 or 165 was my lowest. It might have been 163. And I have noticed during this last several months of maintenance, now, if you've been with me for a while on the channel, you'll know that my anhedonia, flat mood, has been an issue for me. And so I titrated down, which helped a little. And then I spaced out my shots, and that has helped some more. My mood is better, and I don't feel as flat as I was feeling. And I don't want to go back to feeling really flat. But I feel like I would like to gain 10 pounds. When I told my husband last week after I did my video, my workouts I've been a little more tired during my workouts. My husband and I do arms and legs, arms 2 days, legs 2 days, and then either on arms again. It's like definitely 5 days a week, usually 6. We will work out. I have 1 rest day. I try to shoot for 2 rest days. But my workouts, I have not been lifting as hard as I have been. And it wasn't just like the flat mood. I was like, wow, let me look back through my videos and see when I feel like I felt my best, right? So I didn't watch 74 videos. I didn't watch them all. I went through like back to last summer and kind of looked to see what my face looked like, what my demeanor was, how my mood was, right? And I thought, I really, for myself, I know that last year at the end of the summer when we went on 2 cruises, my workouts, I was feeling fantastic. I was feeling healthy. I was eating, my eating hasn't changed a lot. I was tracking everything. So I kind of looked at what was I doing then that that's different. Well, there's not a lot that's different. So I'm thinking maybe it's just a matter of having a little bit more weight on my body, which is a really hard decision to come to. But I thought, my face just looked healthier to me. My mood was better. And as you know from my videos the last couple of weeks, I'm really trying to extrapolate like how much of it is the flat mood because of Zepbound, because I know that I am one of the small percentage of people that has that. It's interesting to me when my friends out there will chime in and say, I also have anhedonia, more than I expected. And so I think it's a little more common than Eli Lilly even gives credit for, because it's popping up a lot more in videos that I'm watching elsewhere on other channels, like Dave at On the Pen, I think, had also grappled with it. And I'm seeing it more and more. So it's a bit of a side effect that maybe it's getting more attention now because more people are on the medicine, and then it just by numbers will affect more people. But I'm thinking that that was a part of it, but then I thought maybe it's just that I feel better at a weight that's a little higher. So my struggle this week, and I'll tell you what, in gaining 5 pounds, I'm halfway to my my goal at the beginning of the week when I said to my husband, I think I'm going to gain 10 pounds. Wow, that didn't take long. I gained 5 pounds this week. So by next week, I'll be at like the weight that I think will help me feel better. Probably not. I would be shocked if I gained, 2 weeks back to back 5 pounds. I'm hoping not to do that because I am hoping to put it on as muscle. And it was interesting. I ran through the AI. I took all my Eros readings. It's EROS. It's one of the scales that I originally started using like day one when I was on Zepbound. And then I introduced the Hume scale in August, where you actually pull your arms up, but it actually measures your fat in your arms and your legs. And I have done those religiously also since I started them. So one thing I would suggest to you, if you're not doing that, no matter what weight you're at or where you're at, it's very interesting to see how much muscle you're putting on. And on days where you're feeling like, wow, this just sucks and I'm not feeling good, I was really happy when I had AI analyze both sets of numbers that I ran through it, that I have lost like 140 pounds of fat and gained 15 pounds of muscle. And sometimes in like looking at the apps that they have, it's not really easy to, like, you have to run some numbers yourself. It doesn't just say like muscle gained, right? It's all this like skeletal muscle, this muscle, fat-free weight, body, fat weight. And so I took pictures of my numbers and ran it through Claude AI and said, like, I know how much weight I've lost. How much muscle have I gained? And it said, like, you can see halfway through the year last year where you started growing muscle. And these numbers are great. So a couple of suggestions I would have for you wherever you are in your journey. Take pictures, because if you don't have a YouTube channel, you can't look back and see where you were like feeling so good or where you felt you were at a good point. And if you can, get a scale that measures your body composition, because it is important. Like my goal going into my 60s, I'm not 60 yet, it's coming up, and we're planning a couple of really fun getaways in October and November for my birthday. But I'm still in my end of my 50s. But for my 60s, the important thing for me is building muscle and mobility. Mobility and muscle and strength and how I feel. As a parent of a 24-year-old daughter with Down syndrome who will live at home with us for as long as I'm alive, then I need to be able to help her and be mobile and strong and active. And so that has always been one of my number one focuses, that and not having inflammation. And Zepbound has helped with both of those. But so for this Wednesday's weigh-in, I'm going to wrap it up because I have a 4:00 appointment coming up. And I weighed in at 175, and I haven't seen that number for a while. But in looking back through my videos, 177 to 180 was kind of where I seem to be feeling best. And so, interesting turn of events. I think I'm going to stick around 175 to 180 and see how that feels for me. And keep taking Zepbound. It does help with for me. This is not medical advice for you. This is my update for the week. keep taking it as long as my mood is getting better and my inflammation stays down. It's been an actual pretty good week. So that's it for my 4th of July week. The next big holiday is Halloween. So I have several months of healthy eating and no excuses. We have Labor Day coming up, but that for me is always like gazpacho or stuff from the garden. So that's not a big eating holiday. Next big eating holiday for me, I don't think I'm missing anything. Let me know if I am, but I'm pretty sure it's Halloween. So we've got a lot of healthy weeks coming up, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a good opportunity to stay healthy and not have to worry about all those pesky, yummy get-togethers other than basic barbecues. So I hope your week was good. If you're one of my friends who drops in with your weight, please let me know how your week went. I'd love to hear it. And I'll be back a week from now after my art workshop, and we'll catch up in a week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye-bye.